Do you need help? The answer to that, asking myself, is yes. We all need help as dentists and humans to survive, to thrive, to not cry on the inside. And today's episode of Talking Nachos is going to share how you can get help for your dental practice for you. Before we get started, I want to share that we are super proud of our Job Connect platform. If you are looking for an associate to share the joy of full contact arts and crafts with you. My associate was there with our practice yesterday. I used Job Connect to get my own awesome associate, the awesome Dr. Alicia. She did a full day of hygiene because one of our hygienists was on the injured reserve, the out for the day list. So if you need help, just text HIRE to 215-543-6454. We will share with you how Dentist Job Connect worked and how we can connect you with an awesome associate. So on Talking Nachos, the entire goal is to help you increase success, decrease stress. We have an awesome show for you today. I'm ready for our first guest. When my team's ready, we have the awesome Dylan Brockman, key resource and sponsor. Now, Dylan, I like you people just to orient the viewers, whether they're watching live or they're watching on demand. What do you do in your daily life to help dentists and humans decrease stress? You might still be on mute there politely, so just let's see.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
Perfect. Yeah. So I appreciate the introduction. And actually, as we were chatting yesterday or earlier today, you kind of mentioned something that I thought was pretty funny. Helping people find health insurance without crying inside. So that's pretty much what I do on a daily basis, right? I'm sure a lot of people understand how expensive and how complicated insurance can be. Kind of going through the process, finding something affordable, finding something that's good enough. And ultimately, that's where I come in, right? So I'm basically health advisor, kind of help people explore all of their different options, whether it's something through the Obamacare marketplace, which are income-driven plans, or something within the private market where those plans are customizable. And some of the best ones could even give you better rates and better coverage based off of medical history. So ultimately, kind of find the different route that's going to be best for someone, for a dentist and whatever stage they're in with their dental practice. Right?
Gotcha.
Whether they're already established, they have multiple locations, or maybe they're just starting up and need someone to grow with them. Pretty much we have a solution for all different kinds of aspects there.
I find that, I've been involved in this process in my own office for the past 2 decades. I'm really proud that, offering health insurance to your team and you is something I believe in, and you really help people, secure a lot of things for their lives. But getting the insurance, figuring out the plans, the different tiers, it really can be so confusing. Right. Who are you working with on a daily basis? Are you working with a solo GP? Are you working with groups? Are you working with the office managers? If someone was to text in Brockman to 215-543-6454 and say, you know what, I need to change health insurance plans. I don't even have a plan. My team's going to ask me, tell us a little bit about the process you go through.
Yeah, so basically, I know that usually the head GP or the dentist on staff is pretty busy going back and forth with appointments. Especially this time of year. I know everyone's insurance is getting ready to end, so everyone's kind of getting their last dental cleanings and things like that. So usually it's kind of like an office manager or someone that kind of handles the HR sort of aspect of everything. And pretty much what we do is kind of collect everyone's zip code, birthdays, figure out what kind of medications or what kind of special needs someone needs for their person, right?
What I found is, the dental offices represent really cool teams. And a lot of times you have people ages 19 to 69 working in the same office, which just have dramatically different medical needs. Where do you see offices, if you were just to deliver some education and value, new practice owner, they bought a practice, they're trying to do a bunch of things, their staff saying, I need health insurance, we never had it before. Where do you see dentists go wrong? Sometimes I know my dentist people, they have a tendency to be a little cheap about things, Dylan, but sometimes that cheapness can lead them down a road where things become more expensive. So where do you see they go wrong?
Yeah, so oftentimes, it kind of goes back to this cliche of you get what you pay for kind of thing. At the same time, health insurance doesn't have to be expensive. So some of the pitfalls that most business owners, solo practitioners and things like that fall into is looking for the affordable option, right? Yeah. And usually those affordable options can be programs that are not regulated by the Department of Insurance. They're not there's no governing body to basically say, hey, you have to pay this medical claim for this individual. Usually programs that are kind of like health sharing programs where, the individuals of a plan will share money into a pool of funds, and then they all, help pay for each other's medical expenses, right? Those plans are usually pretty affordable, but when it comes down to actually paying for medical claims, sometimes people could fall into situations where their claims aren't paid, or their claims aren't paid in the amount that they expect it to, right? So although you're saving money on the front end, on the back end, you have a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. And not sure if you knew this, but basically I think it's like 92% of bankruptcies in America is from medical debt.
I did not know that. Yeah. And I think it's, it's just an opportunity for practice owners to be good leaders and help their team understand, what's possible. I know in our offices, we've always had menu options for our team where, people can pick, I know these were some of the names back in the day: gold, silver, bronze, high, medium, low. And when you give them those options, people don't argue with their own decisions. A great leadership tip from one of my coaches, Carol Kivler. But it's just such a nacho nuts time on earth. And we see that life happens, and not being protected with the right medical or health insurance, like you said, could just be a total disaster. So I appreciate you sharing this, Dylan. If someone wanted to reach out to you, I know we have our text code, but how could they reach out to you directly if they want a JFO, just find out how you can help them in their office?
Yeah, so I actually have a pretty comprehensive website with a little tab on there that says Insurance Survival Guide. Basically, if you go on www.brockmanhealth, so my last name, health, like healthy, but without the Y. So www.brockmanhealth.com. You can browse on there. You can click get a free quote button. You can schedule an appointment where you can have a one-on-one conversation with me completely free. Or if you just want some information, use that Insurance Survival Guide on there, and you can educate yourself. We have some fun quizzes, so that way you can maybe take a quiz and find out what kind of insurance plan would be best for you and your situation.
I love that. So the ultimate JFO, just find out website. Well, I know you'll be back sharing with us, Dylan. Thanks so much. Really appreciate what you do, being a sponsor. I think, the topping that you offer is so important. It's one that can be easily confusing and complex. So you're here to de-stressify it for all of us.
Yep. Helping you find health insurance without crying inside.
That should be your tagline. Thanks, Dylan. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
So as you can see on Talking Nachos, our goal is to decrease your stress, make things better for everyone in your office. I'm ready for my next guest when my team is ready. So I have one of my own people, another dentist, multi-practice owner, Dr. Maya. So Maya, before we get into your story, I want you to just share with us, what do you do in your daily dentisting life? With being a dentist, managing dentists, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, it's a never a dull moment here. Just a little bit of everything. Definitely full contact arts and crafts, as you call it. Not full time at this point. So I get to spend a lot of time with the doctors, mentoring and just teaching them all the good stuff that I've learned.
That's awesome. Now, when did you graduate from dental school?
2002.
Yeah, same as me. What year school did you go to?
UNC, Chapel Hill.
So my amazing dad was a dentist. I worked with him for 11 years until he unfortunately passed away. But I grew up in a dental office. I did all the jobs but dentist. But even that, until I became a dentist, you just don't know how it feels. You don't know how it feels to be in the operatory. What's something, I'm really just curious, that you think we could tell dental students if they said, listen to this one thing from Dr. Maya and Dr. Paul to prepare yourself for survival and thrival? What do you wish you did more early in your career to make your later years less stressful? What would you say?
I definitely think finding the right mentors and learning from other people and not being alone in the practice. I think dentistry is just really, really hard. Doing good dentistry day in and day out is not easy. And so many days you feel like such a loser. It's like, why did I do this? Like I'm the worst person in the world,
I don't know if I invented this, Maya, but I said, you could, in dentistry, I say you could be surrounded by people, but feel very alone. Because as the dentist, you're often the only person who can do certain jobs. So I say, when you do a good job, put one hand up and take the other one and give yourself a selfie high five, because they don't notice. The thing I would add, and I think yours is great with mentorship, I'm going to take another M, is become very comfortable by having uncomfortable conversations early around money. Because if you cannot talk to patients about money in a way where you don't make it weird, where you can't say, hey, Mrs. Smith, to restore your ability to chew and smile with confidence, it's going to be an investment of $10,000. But we've had patients do it and love it. If you cannot comfortably talk about money with dental patients, it's going to be a long career because nothing happens until they say yes and pay for it. So I think those are two great tips there. So tell us now, you're part of our Dentist Job Connect program. You're out there looking for an associate dentist. Tell us where you are and why you're looking for this dentist.
We're in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have 10 doctors right now in 4 locations, and we focus on sedation dentistry. And there is so much demand for sedation dentistry that is driving our growth. You know, we did not set out to have a whole bunch of locations. It's just happening organically because this is what people want. You know, there are 3 reasons that the patients don't see dentists, right? And fear is one of them. And if we can overcome that, it is just, it removes this huge barrier for patients. So we need more doctors to help us do this for our patients. Yeah.
So you're looking for a full-time in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's say I apply for this job. I work with you guys for a year. What's my daily dental life going to be like? Am I going to be with other dentists? Am I doing restorative dentistry, surgery? Tell us a little bit about that.
We do a little bit of everything. Because we do sedation dentistry, we do all the specialties under sedation. So anything from wisdom teeth to implants to cosmetic dentistry to endo, molar endo, you know, some fancy sinus procedures. Just, you know, if you're really looking to do a lot of cool stuff and learn how to, you know, learn how to do it, we can mentor you and how to do it.
I'm going to ask you, one of my favorite movies was Fight Club. And I'm going to ask you, let's say, why would you want this job? If you, let's say you're 3 years out of dental school, maybe you did a GPR, you're working and you're not sure if you love where you are, and you say, I want to make a shift and work with you and your team. Why would you want this job if you were a new dentist?
From what I've heard from the doctors that started with us, they all feel like they're way ahead of their classmates in their experience with us. They just progress much, much faster on their track. They get to do more cool stuff, and you know, they have the support of the other doctors. They also get to make a lot of money doing it. With sedation dentistry, we do get to do a lot of good cases. Our average doctor makes over 100,000. Produces over 100 a month and takes home over 300.
I mean, that's an important part, you know, to highlight, because money, morale, and mentorship. And why is money important to dentists? There's dental student loans. There's affording your life. There's feeling like you're being rewarded for all this time you put in. I mean, we've taken 4 to 6 year pauses while sometimes our friends are working in other careers, and making money is something that we should talk about in an authentic way. So it sounds like your dental associates there can make over $250,000 a year. Most
of them make over 300.
Wow, that's awesome. So, Maya, you've given us a great story. People can text job to 215-543-6454. But if someone wanted to reach out to you directly to work in Raleigh, North Carolina with the team, learning cool dental procedures, how would they do that?
They can go to the website. It's villagedentalraleigh.com, and they can definitely contact me. My phone number is 919-616-4495, or email mayamartin99@gmail.com.
Awesome. We'll put that in the chat. Before I bring it off, since we're the same basically age and everything, yeah. I've invented Dentist Job Connect to be part of the solution, right? To do things like this and get someone to say, hey, but I tell practice owners like you, use Indeed, use Free Dental Town, post on Facebook groups. This is really curious. What happened to dentistry that we have such a terrible way of finding jobs after dental school? I mean, I've noticed this for all of these years. It's almost like they're hidden, like it's the Oregon Trail. What are some ways you think we can make it better, whether it's a paid way, non-paid way, because you're looking to hire dentists all the time and it's a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I just recently actually discovered you. I saw you down at the DEO meeting, and you're great. I love all your sayings. And the Nacho side seems really cool. I mean, just a lot more fun than typical dentist is, right? But kind of not really cool. We're not. Yeah. So it's been great, but yeah, it's definitely a challenge. I'm everywhere. I'm on AGD website and some of the clinical dental pearls. I mean, the social media is definitely helping a lot.
I wish the dental schools would just be a little less scared and a little more open of allowing people to share with dental students what the real world is like. In some nacho nuts way, it seems like they let giant DSOs share and not private practices. But whether you're a private practice, a group, a small DSO, a big DSO, you should be able to connect with these students so they're aware of what their life looks like. Because too often, like you said, from your colleagues, from your associates, they're ahead of their classmates, because I feel bad that many of these new dentists are just lost when they go out into the real world. So together we'll make it better, Maya. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul.
Have a good rest of the day.
You too. Bye.
So our Dentist Job Connect platform is here to be part of the solution to connecting you with someone for full contact arts and crafts. If you would like to learn how the whole thing works, just text HIRE to 215-543-6454. So we have a very special final guest on Talking Nachos here. I'm going to bring him up here in a minute. We have Rodney. Well, Rodney is a non-dentist. He's a normal person. Okay, he's a normal person, but he goes to the dentist. I want Rodney to share with us this awesome, poignant, feel-good, but scary story. So, Rodney, I'm so glad you to be here today. Listen to this story. We can save people's lives, make people feel better, do what we want to do. But Rodney, I'll let you take it away.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for having me on here. So yeah, I'll just get right into it, and then the aha will come through. I try to stay healthy. I've always been considered pretty active. Over the years, I work full-time job, but on the side, I was teaching fitness classes. I was a step instructor, kickboxer, weight trainer, spinning class. I did all that stuff, and went to my physicals. I did go to went to my dentist every 6 months. Always stayed on it. But I'm kind of just trying to stay as healthy as I can. That was my thing, and I had my same dentist for over 20 years, and it was a family practice. And when I was in high school and then went to college, and I would schedule everything, so I was always going in, and they retired and sold everything. And they said, oh, here's this new dentist, and she's doing all these new things and all this stuff. So I'm looking at the paperwork they sent, and I said, oh, maybe I should just go to a dentist closer to my home instead of having to drive 30 minutes. And no, I stayed with Dr. Malapetti and went in for my first appointment and sat down in the chair, and we do our thing. And next thing you know, she puts this cover on my, and I'm like, what's that for? She says, we do blood pressures. We test blood pressures before every appointment. And I was like, okay. So mine came up like about 95 over 60. And she was like, is that normal for you? I said, yeah, I'm pretty low, the blood pressure. And we went on every 6 months, do my thing.
And I want to just pause for a minute because it's just so great that your dentist was committed to screening and doing this, because it's not easy to put this into your systems. Most of the time you're finding normal things, but you're on guard, aware for challenges. So I'll let you continue, but you had the healthiest of blood pressure, fitness instructor. What happens next?
And so probably about in 2017, I started having these weird episodes, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so I was walking my dog out at this little trail, and it was uphill. And all of a sudden, I just started feeling these weird sensation on the left side. I know saying it now, it's like, oh my gosh, you're an idiot. But at that time, it was like these weird sensations on the left side, feeling it, shortness of breath. And I was like, but I'm just walking the dog. And it was really weird. And I took some deep breaths. It went away, and I was fine. And I went to my doctor, and I talked. They did a stress test on me, and I passed the stress test, and they said something about my heart being small, needed to stretch it, do more exercise. I'm like, I pretty much
your heart. Wow. I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, he doesn't work there anymore, so that's probably a reason why. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do this. So I did a marathon. Never run because it hurt. My body would hurt, my joints, everything just hurt if I tried running after a while. And I couldn't understand why, because I ran in high school. But I said, I'm going to do this, but it was a ruck. So the Boston Marathon, it's an official Boston Marathon event, but because of the Boston bombing, we had to do it the day before and off the trail. And it's the full 26.2 miles, but you have a backpack. So I had 35 pounds on my back, and I did it in 7.5 miles, and it was awesome. And I stay healthy. That's what I do. And I would have these episodes again, but they'd go away, and I was like, oh. The doctor didn't seem concerned. I bring it up each year for my physical, just like, stay healthy. So that's what I did. So 2019, I got an Apple Watch, and I was having more episodes. So I started tracking it, and I discovered that anytime my heart rate got over 137, 140, that's when I would get these sensations. So I was just marking it down. Still, my doctor didn't seem to be too concerned. And then in October 2019, I went hiking, which is my pastime, up in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, alone. Another stupid thing. But I was like, I'm going hiking. It's like, I need to do something for myself. I just had a divorce, and I was like, I got to go have fun. So
your me time.
Yeah, me time. So I went hiking on a local trail called Middle Mountain, and I started going, and about 20 minutes into it, I got hit hard with a sensation. And it took, I remember it. I'm leaning against a tree, taking a deep breath. I was at 160 with my heartbeat. And I was like, wow. I said, maybe I should go back down and go to the doctors. No, everything subsided, and I hiked 8 more miles, and I hiked 4 more days doing that.
Wow.
So
You're crazy and kind of stupid at the same time there.
exactly. I mean,
I admire your commitment, but also question the sanity. But I know it's tough, you know.
yeah, I know. I'm getting better now at learning the signs. So we fast forward then to November, and I go in for my checkup, and I sit down, and I'm just having a cleaning, and Dr. Malipati puts the cuff on me, and I have a 130/85 blood pressure. And she goes, "That's high for you." It's not high, but it's high for you. And I said, yeah. She goes, maybe it's wrong. We did it again. No, it was the same thing. So we're like, maybe there's something to get checked out. Now, mind you, later on during that cleaning, I fell asleep in the chair. I fall asleep. I'm so relaxed. So there's not even a stress.
I like patients like you. You love the dentist. That's great.
I love it. I feel good after that. So I ended up going and checking in with the doctor. So listen, I need to have this out. So they did an EKG. They said there's something about an inverted T wave. We want to have you go to the main hospital called Main Med, go to the ER and do some more tests. Now, again, as you know, hiking mountains with these things, I'm still not even registering that there's a serious problem. I'm like, yeah, I'll go to Main Med. I just figured that's what you do. You go to the ER when you don't have a scheduled appointment for something, and they just check you in. Well, I was surprised. When I got there, they whisked me away into a wheelchair, threw me on a table, stripped me down, put a patch, AED patch on me, nitroglycerin under the tongue, and I was like, what's going on? So the next 3 days of tests turned out after I did all of the CAT scan. I had the up through the groin, and I can't remember. I lose the type of that test where they have to go and they put dye in my heart to see what's going on. All of that still showed a pretty positive, but what they discovered was that I have a bicuspid aortic valve, which is actually not uncommon that people have it. It's just a genetic defect. However, mine had stopped opening and closing, and it was like spurting like a hose and pushing through. So all the exercise I was doing was actually thickening the lower chamber of my heart to push the blood through that. So I was actually killing myself by trying to be healthy. And then in that, because of the spurt, there was an aneurysm. And a week later, I had open heart surgery.
That's just, I mean, I really appreciate you authentically sharing that story in a humorous way. I know it takes a lot of courage. And also, you know, I feel like maybe you had some friend. I know I'd have a friend who didn't like to exercise. Who might say, you see, exercise is bad for you because, you know, that was like, so, I mean, what I'd like to, you know, drill into, pun intended, is your commitment of your dentist to taking your blood pressure just was really awesome because, you know, you had obviously signs from other places, but you seemed to take her or him or her opinion seriously. What made you go from that dental chair to that? Because you had these other episodes. Was it her concern? Was it just you said this was the time? I'm just curious.
No, I mean, I think it was the combination. It was the right timing. I mean, in all honesty, it could have just been a random BP reading. I mean, we did it twice. But the fact is that, you know, she's taken it all the time. So I already had a history that my blood pressure was always a double digit. So it really was the last little, okay, something's going on now.
And I think, you know, it's interesting. We talk a lot about marketing and sales and how to get patients to move forward and things like that. When are they ready? And I think what's really cool about what your dentist did was we oftentimes have thick heads and need to be beaten over the head with the same message, right? Save money for retirement, save money for retirement. But it just takes that one time that to make you move forward to Sell as Human by Daniel Pink. And I just think likely all those combinations from the hiking incident to this, and it was just the perfect timing to literally save your life there. So I just think that's amazing.
And I think it's connected. I mean, we talk about that, you know, the dental hygiene and it is all connected. It is your body. Right. And so that was, you know, that's the little string into the tack that goes through that. Okay, this is all now it's overlapping and it's worth the attention. And I mean, seriously, when I called my doctor's office, the nurse called and it says it's 130/85. You know, that's not high. And people have anxiety when they go to the dentist. And I was like yelling. I said, no. I said, if you look at my chart, I'm a double digit kind of guy, and I fall asleep in my chair. So stop it. I need to be. And so they said,
I think And it also just shows you how much you have to advocate for yourself inside the medical system. And I just think that ABC, always be consistent, always be caring. Your dentist. I hope if you could share her info. I want to send them a nacho sweatshirt in the chat when we're done. But Rodney, I think, the message here is that dentists do amazing things inside and outside the mouth. But what your dentist did for you had nothing to do with periodontal disease, with a filling. And, I worked at a residency program for years, and, we learned many people will see their dentist and not their doctor. You say, when was your last dental visit? 6 months ago. When was your last doctor visit? I don't understand the question. So we are often the front lines of monitoring, screening, not diagnosing, not treating, but, we now dentists have become very engaged with sleep apnea, with things like that. And I just think, for new dentists, medium-age dentists, seasoned-age dentists, your story reminds us why we do what we do. And I really thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, I mean, I went in a month after my surgery, and when I was cleared, I stopped in, and they're like, "Hi," and I said, "I just wanted to come in and talk to you about, the blood pressure thing." And it was funny because immediately she goes, "I'm really sorry. I know some people don't like it, but I really believe in it." I said, "I'm not here for an apology. I'm here to tell you, you saved my life." And I told her, and she was like, "Oh my gosh." But I found it interesting that she went into the defense that people were upset about that.
I mean, I was just sharing that dentists, and we'll bring Maya and Dylan back up in a second, but, being able to handle conflict as a dentist is the key to success, because it's conflict, right? I want to take your blood pressure. I don't want it taken. I know you don't want it. It would be weird if you came in and said you did want it, but we got to do this together anyway. And I just think dental school needs to embolden us to do that. So I'm going to bring our other guests back up for a wrap up here. Rodney, please give us the name of your dentist so we can send them some stuff. I think in a kindly, annoying way to you, Rodney, I think you should get a shirt made. Maybe we should get a made, not your team, that say, "Ask me why I love my dentist," and just wear it around town. And people will ask you, and you say, "Well, not even though I have a good crown or filling, it's because my dentist helps save my life by doing that." So thanks so much, Rodney. I want to go to Dylan. Dylan, this was your first. You can unmute yourself, Dylan, when you're ready. This was your first Talking Nachos. What I'd like to ask at the end in just a few minutes here is, what is something you learned from someone else on the panel that was maybe an aha moment, or I never thought of it that way, or that's really interesting to me? Just curious to have you share.
Well, I kind of learned a few things from both of the guests. Number one, Maya, since she went first, just the fact that, a lot of times people are coming out of dental school seemingly unprepared. And, that kind of, it feels very reminiscent of, people going through and getting their insurance license, right? Someone going through and getting their real estate license or whatever credentials they need in order to start practicing in the real world. And that's just something that I think a lot of new upcoming dentists should really take into consideration and really go out there and look to get the experience, because I think that's really where a lot of the core fundamental learning.
Real world learning is all of the learning. I mean, I really enjoyed college, and I liked that experience, but Villanova University is kind of not the real world. It's a place where you walk around and read philosophy and drink coffee. That's great, but we really need to teach people, human beings, how to survive and thrive in the real world, because real world learning is the learning. Thanks, Dylan. How about you, Maya?
It was great to learn from everybody. I love learning. Dylan's health insurance information is really interesting. I didn't even know there are so many options out there for us. And then Rodney's story is just a great reminder of why we need to check blood pressure every time and insist on it for all of our patients, right?
And I think it's, what's weird is about it, then patients will give you conflict, Maya, but then they'll appreciate the same thing that they gave you conflict about. And then weirdly, they might even brag to their friends behind your back and never tell you, by the way, that their dentist really cares. So I just think you're spot on in that, reminding ourselves why we do what we do, and the consistency with little annoying things is the key to success.
And I love your quote. I haven't heard you say, "People do not argue with their own decisions." I'm going to write that one down. That's a good one.
I have to give that to Carol Kivler. She was our management coach, and I got a 3-year-old. If I say, "Drew, have M&Ms," she'll say, "I don't want M." I say, "Drew, we have M&Ms and Reese's peanut butter. You got to pick one," and it's checkmate. I've won, because she has to pick one. So that's why when you give 3 options for a treatment plan, 2 options for healthcare, people are now into not a yes or no, they're into a which one type of thing. And, you don't want to overwhelm people with 15 things, but I really like that. Thanks. Yeah. Rodney, we'll wrap up with you and one of my favorite stories ever here on Talking Nachos. Anything you wanted to share before we end?
I would say no, but I'll say something. I think definitely, I'm preaching to the choir, but without a doubt, if you're in the field, you are connected. Sometimes, people hate going to the dentist. It is all connected to your health and well-being, and you are instrumental in that. So, hats off to all of you. I have a lot of dental friends, and thank you for what you do.
Here's what I say to patients when they're acting crazy in the chair. I go, "Oh, you don't like it here?" I go, "I just have a question. Do you like eating?" They go, "Yeah, I love that." I go, "Well, we're just trying to help you do that, right?" So,
or you can sedate them.
Yes, I like that. Exactly. I like that. If you don't want to remember this, if you want to be relaxed, if you're not Rodney, put yourself to sleep. Well, thanks so much, guys. Hang around. Don't jump off. Nacho verse. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye. Thank you so much.